Welcome to this series about Team Foundation Service. My name is Søren Clemmensen, and this is my third video on how to use Team Foundation Service, or TFS, with Microsoft Dynamics NAV. If you have not seen the other videos in this series, please go to my blog at mibuse.com/blogs/SørenK, and you will find links to all of the videos. The first thing I would like to look at and show you is how you can look at the history of objects. Now in this case we're standing in the Microsoft W1 2013 R2 base app folder, meaning that this is the W1 2013 R2 application, and we have all the objects in our base app folder. If I go to code unit 1, I can right click on it and I can say view history, or I can go up on top here and click this icon up here that says history, and it will show me the history of that one object. And it means it will show me the change sets. A change set is a set of changes to multiple objects, so it's going to show me the change sets where this one object was included in. And as you can see, code unit 1, which is the one we're looking at, was included in the original check-in of the application, and it was included in update rollout 1, update rollout 2, and update rollout 3. Not surprising, as we are changing the build number in code unit 1 every time, or Microsoft is in this case. If I go back and look at code unit 1000 and I look at the history, you'll see that it was only included in the original check-in and in update rollup 1. Now I know I've not shown you yet how you actually put in an update rollup like this, or a change to any code, but I'll show you that shortly. So let's close the history on code unit 1000 here, and the next thing I wanted to show you was, well, what can we use the history for? Typically when you look at the history, you want to see what has actually changed. If we go back to code unit 1 and do history, we are actually able to say, okay, I want to see the original version, and then if you hold your control button down and you click on another change set, you'll see there's two get marked. You can now right click and say compare these two, and it will outline out here on the right where the changes are, and you can just click on different changes and jump and see the changes in the code. Now this was the changes of one object, so between two different change sets in one object, in this case code unit 1. I could also do this on folder level. If we close the history object here, we go to the base app. Just as we could take the difference, the history of an object, we can take the history of a folder, and I can look at the differences between the two same versions as I just looked at, 23 and 25. And let's compare these two. Now you'll see this time a dialog box shows up because you're doing a compare now between two folders. Again, it can show you the two change sets you're comparing in the same location, and it's going to show you the items that exist only in the source, the items that exist only in the target, and the items that are different. We're not showing the items that are the same, but you can do that any way you want to. Click OK, and it will give you a list of the objects that have differences, like this is code unit 1, the one we just looked at. It will also show you objects that exist only in the target, which in this case was the update rollup 2, and you see there's some new files in that rollup update. If you want to drill into this list, you can just double click on any one of these ones, and it will go in, show you the exact changes in this one object. If you want to go to another one, 1000 was the one we looked at before, you'll see that here are the changes to 1000, to code unit 1000. easy and fast way of navigating around the differences you might have in your code, and a very effective way for your support team to figure out what has changed. Now we could also look at the differences between two change sets in the same branch. What if we wanted to do something differently? What if we wanted to compare this, so the base app of W1, to the base app of the NA version, so the North American version? In that case, do the same thing. Right click the folder, say compare, then browse, and again you can compare to a local path if you have some files local you want to compare to. In this case I just want to compare to the server, and I want to compare to not W1 but the North American version. In this case it's the latest version, but we could also go in and say I don't want to compare the latest version, I want to compare a specific change set. So let me find the change sets that are currently in it, and I want to compare rollup 2 in my W1 to my change set, and here find them again, rollup 2 in my North American version, which is this NA here and W1 up there, and again show me the differences. Click OK. The tool in very short time frame is going to tell you, okay, these are the changes. You see Codion 1 is different, however there's a whole bunch of new objects that have been added here. 1004 is different, and so on. So it becomes very easy to actually compare across products and see what is the localizations that have been added to a specific country version here. But imagine this with a customer instead, where in North American version was a customer. Very quick way of identifying which objects have been changed and modified compared to a specific start point in time. Now we know how to look at the history of files, and we know how to see the differences between different files, different versions of files in the system, and the same with folders. Next thing we will look at is branching. Now, what is branching? Well, let's say we want to start development on our product A, and we want to do that on W1 2013 R2. Well, what we can do is we can go to the standard Microsoft version of W1 2013 R2 base app, and we can branch that version. We do that by right-clicking and saying branch and merging, and branch. And then we will say we want to put it, so the source is the base app where we just clicked on. The target we will need to change, because we want to put the target down here to product A W1 2013 R2. Now we are also rebranching the entire base app, so we need to add the folder here saying base app. And it's going to download the target items to your workspace, meaning that it's going to create all the files in your workspace. It's also immediately going to convert the source folder to a branch, which enables some visualization, which you will see in a minute. If you noticed, I'm branching the latest version of the object, so that means that is 2013 R2 update rollup 3. So that completed the branching. We can now see here that we have a base app folder with all the different version or different objects under the base app. The small icon in front of all the object names and the folder structure here means that this is a branch and it's not yet checked in. So the first thing we should do is checking it in. Now, I always recommend to make absolutely sure you know where things come from. So the first thing to do is look at the history over here and say, this is change set number 26. So when you check this in, it's always a good idea to have notes, and you can see this in the branching itself, but notes very often helps understand exactly what you're doing. So this was branched from Microsoft W1 2013 R2 base app, and it was change set 26, update rollup 3. This, if you ever go back and look at this, this will tell you exactly where this came from. You have no doubt in your mind what you're doing. So let's check it in. We'll check in 4020 objects. If you notice, that is actually one more object than there is in the branch, because there's only 4019 objects in the application at update 3. But the folder itself also needs to be checked in. So that's the extra one object. And that concluded the check-in. As we can see now down in the bottom, change set 36 was successfully checked in. Now let's assume we have made some changes to the code unit 1 and code unit 1000, which seems to be my two new favorite code units. And we have exported them from a development client. So as we did before, we would just drop them on top of our splitter here. And I forgot to, by the way, sometimes you need to make sure this splitter is unblocked in case you downloaded it from the internet. So that would give me my two objects with my changes in. And I want to use that in my product. So all I really need to do, export, split them, take these two, move them over here, replace. Then they're gone. They are now in my product, and you'll see Visual Studio here right away recognizes that these two have edits. Now, a good practice that I always try to enforce is to check what are you actually about to check in. Always just say, okay, what is my differences here? So I'm just going to do a compare, and it's going to quickly compare my previous against my current. Now you see this object, so 1000, for some obscure reason, somebody has added a +5. And if I look at code unit 1, in this case I'll use the compare up here, you'll see there's some changes to my date and time, there's some changes to my version list. It looks like we have added something to the application version, and we have put our own build number in the application build. So these changes are now ready to be checked in. You can either do like this, you can right click and check in the whole folder. If you have more changes and you want to check them in independently of each other, it's easy to either sort on user or sort on pending changes, because you can see the pending changes for other users too. So, and then just to say I want to check these two in only, right click, check in pending changes, ready over here, and then say fixed version, so fixed calculation error and updated version and build. Now, it's always a good idea to really always put very good comments in here. These comments are telling you everything you need to know when you look at the history and you try to error search for bugs and stuff like that at a later point in time. So always put really good comments in. And let's do the check-in. Now, I now have a custom version of my product A. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing, but this time I'm going to do it with my W1 version, because Microsoft just issued update 4. And by coincidence, I have update 4 lying ready here. So I'm gonna copy that over into my splitter folder. I'm just gonna rename it over here. As you know from before, I'm always putting the underscore in front just to make sure that this file doesn't go missing between all the other files that is gonna come out now when I split. So I'm gonna split the files. While I do that, I can minimize this one again and bring up my base app. So this was my product A. This is not the one I want to update now. I want to update my Microsoft version, because this was my Microsoft coming out with a new version. So the split finished, and I have my 4019 objects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark all of them, the 4019, the 2 other ones we don't need. Cut them from here, go over into my base app, paste them. Hopefully it should come up and say it want to replace 4019 objects. Which it did. Okay, so we have now checked that into the base app over here, and we can see there's a bunch of changes from update 4, among others to code unit 1, but not to code unit 1000. So let's check these ones in. Check in the pending changes, and this is then W1 2013 R2 update rollup 4. Changes successfully checked in as changeset 38. Okay, now we have the product which we branched from the Microsoft version. We branched it from update rollup 3. So the product is on update rollup 3, but Microsoft has issued a new update. Now, what's the easiest way to get those objects merged into our code? We can do the good old manual way, or we can do the next thing I want to show you, which is merge. Because we branched the product A from this folder, we can now right click on the folder up here and say, I want to merge the changes in this folder to my target product A. Now there's only one option here right now, because we only have one product we have branched from this folder. But imagine you have multiple products that you support, or more likely you have more customers that you support on one product. You would be able to merge to any one of these customers or products just by choosing them here. You can also then decide, do you want to merge all changes, which in this case we only have one, so, or do you want to select specific change sets? Now, if you have more change sets and you only want to take a certain step, you just do select it. Otherwise, you just leave it at all and say next. Latest version, next, and finish. Now, in the background, the merging process will happen. And it will come up and say here there was one conflict. Now, code unit 1000 was no conflict on that one because we didn't have any conflicts. There was no changes to it in the Microsoft version. In our version, in the new update version here, code unit 1 was changed, and we had also changed code unit 1. Now, but the only reason why there's actually conflicts is because we changed them in the same areas, and we will see that as soon as we click on the merge tool, the merge changes here in merge tool, which is the easiest way of dealing with these. Now, dealing with the merge issues, it's very easy. Here we have the Microsoft version, so the new update for Microsoft version. Over here we have our custom, so our product A, and down in the bottom we have the merged version. So in the first case there's a conflict. We'll fix it with using our date because this is the latest date, so that makes more sense to me. We'll use the Microsoft version tag, but we will add our own. Then we'll go to the next conflict, and if you notice here right away, there is actually a merge just above here in the product version. It's not a conflict. It didn't ask about anything, it didn't do anything. It was only changed in one version, so this one it merged all by itself. But it doesn't know what to do with the build number, so we'll have to deal with that. And we'll just add here product build 5. So we only have to deal with the changes where we actually Microsoft made changes on things we also made changes to. Otherwise, the merge will take care of it all by itself. So all we have to do now is to say except merge, and the merge will disappear off the list here. We've resolved all conflicts. And we can go back out here, look at our product. We'll see here's all the changes, including the merged, the manual merge we just did in code unit 1. And they're ready to check in, so we can now say check in pending changes. Merged. Microsoft W1 2013 R2 base app update roll up 4 to product A. So let's check it in. And that's how easy it was to actually update our product with the new release from Microsoft, a new product update rollup from Microsoft. Now this concludes what I wanted to show you this time around. We looked at the history, how you can look at history of different development you're doing. We looked at how you can compare files and folders with each other and see what has been done over time. We looked at how you can branch folders to start to use as a basis for product development. We looked at how you can check in changes either via the product development, which is going to be the main part of, hopefully, be the main part of your work, but also how you can check in the Microsoft changes into the standard branches. And we looked at how we can merge those changes into our products in a very easy and effective way. I hope you liked this video, and I hope to see you back for the next one in the series. Thank you.